everyone, and welcome back to another video of Jake's Games. Yesterday I did a trailer of Ironman versus Mandalorian. I talked about what possibly characters I could do next. I said Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Captain America. That could be a fight. I hope I will be able to do that soon. I could try and do it. It might be very hard. There might be an easy winner in that one. But I did get some comments already based on the trailer I already gave. Some people said Iron Man, other people said Mandalorian will win this fight. I have a tally right here of the things I'll be talking about. I usually talk about the same four things: determination, skills, which require intelligence and combat, and the intelligence of that character. So here we go with Iron Man versus Mandalorian. Let's do a video. So here we are, Iron Man versus Mandalorian. Those four topics I already said: determination, intelligence, combat, skills, and the weapons that they use. Those are the four topics I'll be talking about. Intelligence and combat skills are going to be separate as usual. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with Iron Man. Let's see. Let's do Iron Man and his weapons. Let's just start there. His weapons are a vast majority of everything. You know what? Before we get started with that, before I actually dive into Mandalorian Iron Man, I'm going to tell you which Iron Man suit I'll be talking about, because it's very OP if I give Iron Man the Hulkbuster suit. Because if I just give Iron Man the Hulkbuster suit, all he can do is just kick Mandalorian and then he's down. Plus, it's a Hulkbuster suit. It's supposed to stop the Hulk. So, I will be talking about the 2013 version of the Iron Man suit. The Mark 42, the one where it can come apart, it comes separate, it can come back and attach itself to Tony Stark, RDJ. So that is the suit, or the genre. I'm going to be talking about the 2013 Mark 42 suit in Iron Man 3. So that's the suit I'll be talking about. You'll probably be wondering why I'll be talking about that. Because it does get damaged. Yes, it does. But it's still a suit that comes apart. It still has all the weapons that most of the other Iron Man suits have. So the weapons, now that we're getting into it, the weapons Iron Man has, he's got lasers, he's got rocket launchers, he's got mini missiles, he's got the blasters from both of his hands, thrusters, and I guess the suit itself is just a weapon, because the whole suit is made of metal that took an entire electrical suit from Thor. Well, not that particular suit, but the suits itself can take bolts of lightning from Thor's hammer. So I think all that around just gives it a thumbs up right there. Let's see, other thing it has the chest beam itself, another type of weapon it has. Again, more lasers, more just everything. It's got rocket launchers. It's got everything. It's got blades built inside of them. In some suits more than others. But like I said, I'm only sticking to the Mark 42. With the Mark 42, those are the weapons I gave you with the lasers, the thrusters, the bursts of energy out of everything, chest and hands, and little mini rockets from the shoulders, other rockets everywhere. And it just can come apart itself and be its own weapon, because Tony Stark can get out of the suit and each itty bit part of each suit can attack Mandalorian one-on-one. It can just go here, it can go there, the foot can hit him, the back can hit him, the helmet can hit him, and plus it's another way of another type of diversion Iron Man can give to Mandalorian. He can send his hand this way, come back around, hit him in the head, hit Mandalorian in the head, and then the other hand he can use to blast Mandalorian. Mando, as they call him. So that's the weapons for Iron Man. Weapons for Mandalorian, on the other hand, he's got a blaster. He's got a long-range rifle that has different applications. It can be like a stun gun. It can evaporate other enemies. And he's got this huge spear. Huge spear. For some reason, and I know I'm going to get crap for this later from all the Star Wars fans, mainly from Sean. It's the spear, and for some reason The name escapes me at the moment, but I know it could withstand lightsabers. There was a fight between Mando and the Darksaber in the last episode of Season 2 of Mando, spoiler alert, where Mando was able to actually deflect the Darksaber lightsaber and actually able to counter and protect himself. Usually the lightsabers can cut through almost anything or make dents in it, but this, it was actually able to deflect itself. So that's a pretty upgrade right there. Plus his whole armor can defend a lightsaber right there. And it can deflect lasers if he gets hit in the head. He's able to take a punch to the head because it's huge armor, right? So the whole armor suit, helmet, everything itself is able to just be an entire weapon itself. Mando also has things on his wrist that have a certain button he presses on his wrist. They have also little minier rockets than those in the shoulder of Iron Man. They're able to pierce any armor. And he can reload them. It's not like he only has one shot. He's able to reload them. He's got a grapple gun that if you saw in the trailer, you were able to see a little clip I showed that he's able to grapple someone else's gun and toss it to himself and able to use his own weapon against the enemy. So he has a grapple gun. He's got a jetpack, so he's able to fly. Iron Man also has the boots. He's able to fly as well. So both Iron Man and Mandalorian do have weapons all the way around. They're able to defend themselves with their own weapons and counter with weapons. But it's so hard to choose which person has the most weapons, had the most deadly weapons, because Iron Man was able to get hit by a laser from the Chitauri in the first Avengers movie. This is very hard to give the weapons because they're both awesome. They both have great gadgets, but I think I'm going to have to give it to Iron Man. The reason for that is because Mandalorian's weapons are so minimal. Because he's got the armor suit, he's got the grapple gun, the mini rockets, the spear, and the gun. He can lose the gun in a battle. He can lose the spear. For Iron Man, it's already implanted inside of him. He doesn't run out of rockets. He doesn't run out of the the blasters. He doesn't really run out of the rockets that much. He has the lasers. He's got everything. It's like a resupply. It's like no matter, you think that Iron Man will lose part of his weapons, but all of a sudden, there he goes again. He's got he's got even more weapons just up his sleeve. So I'm gonna have to give it to Iron Man with the weapons. So that's my decision. I'm sorry if my opinion. Again, I'm so sorry for your Star Wars fans. So weapons, I'm gonna have to give it to Iron Man. So Iron Man's got 1, Mandalorian's got 0. Which leads us to, let's see, I'll go with intelligence, the first skill in the skills bracket. So intelligence. Iron Man, Tony Stark, RDJ, he made a new element in Iron Man 2. Like, he made a new entire element. And he is, I think, one of the smartest Avengers I've seen. He uses Jarvis, or in this case Friday now, Jarvis or Friday, to find a weak spot in the enemy's territory. He does everything he can to try and make the world a better place. He tries to do things himself because he doesn't trust anyone else to do the job for him or with him. He does the best he can to minimize the situation as best he could. In Iron Man 3, he called out the bad guy. He did. And he kind of lost that battle. It was a downfall for him. But he was able to try and fix his armor, his Mark 42. He was able to do everything he can in his power to try and get relief for what he did. Iron Man 3 was a great movie. I really enjoyed Iron Man 3. Better than Iron Man 2, that's for sure. I think we can all agree on that. But I think Iron Man 3 was a downfall because he kept having flashbacks to what happened in Iron Man 2, bringing that nuke into the Chitauri's main base of operations in space. So he's having those blackouts. He's having heart problems. And that was a point of intelligence where he needed to find a way to overcome that and become a better person, better superhero, better to Pepper Potts, better to War Machine, Don Cheadle's War Machine. He had to be a better person, and that in itself has to come from the mind and overcome yourself and face your enemy. And he grew as an Ironman, making all the suits, making sure everyone has their own part suit, be able to overcome and work as a team together, and trusting others. That takes a lot of intelligence to have faith in others when you want to have a suit of armor around the world, as he said in Age of Ultron. So, and he's very, and I know I'm straying away from the physical aspect of him having intelligence on the battlefield. So I'm going to kind of work my way back to that. So him having the intelligence on the battlefield works. Like, he's trying to find weaknesses on the battlefield as he goes along. He's trying to figure out different tactics. He's trying to figure out a way. For example, let's do Avengers Endgame. Let's give an example. Because of the blip, Iron Man, Tony Stark, had to figure out a way to try and bring everyone back. Figure out a way to bring people back. A different way to go back in time. And he figured out a way to have a bracelet that goes back in time. And I'm probably messing up my facts in different facts straight, but he figured out a way for everyone to go back in time quickly and effectively without, changing the way they look or they act. So he had to do that in a matter of minutes, and he did it with Friday at the kitchen table in less than 5 minutes. He had to figure out that way, and he did it. It worked 99.98%, the success rate. So that right there, trying to figure out how people can go back in time without damaging themselves, that right there is on-the-spot thinking, trying to do little different points. And he does that through all of his movies. So intelligence-wise, off the battlefield is more effective than him being on the battlefield. So that right there is great enough, trying to help the entire world. And then he sacrificed himself in Endgame, bring everyone back, sacrificing his own life to bring back others. The intelligence for Mandalorian, it's everywhere, on the battlefield, without the battlefield, thinking steps ahead, outsmarting different people, stopping enemies in their tracks, figuring out different ways to be stealthy, be non-stealthy, being a bounty hunter, flying over them, being smart, being tactical. I can't think of any situation, I think, where Mando wasn't being smart in that situation. There are certain times where he was in combat, and I remember there was a time, I can't remember which episode, there was a time where he was in combat, and as they were fighting the enemy, they were losing, and he had to think of something quick on the spot to get the enemies to drop the defenses and lose the battle. And in that, episode 4 of season 1. Oh, God. Between 3 or 5. It was one of those episodes where they had to think of something on the spot, and Mando thought of something, and it worked. Something happened where the enemy saw their biggest gun go down, and it just completely changed the mind of the enemies. And they were able, Mando and his allegiance, his own army of bounty hunters were able to come in and save the day. So Mando has his own intelligence on the spot, 5 steps ahead, stealth, being loud as possible in that situation, defending himself and the others around him. He's had a plan. He thinks of stuff on the spot. So for intelligence of certain situations, being in combat, incognito, being stealthy, being aware of your surroundings, helping Grogu stay out of trouble, thinking of things on the spot, having a temporary thought as the bad guy's talking to him, thinking of how he's going to get out of the situation quickly and effectively. I'm going to have to give it the intelligence aspect. Again, I'm sorry if you don't agree, to Mandalorian. I got to give it to Mandalorian. He thinks of things a little bit more quicker than Tony Stark does of certain situations, so I'm going to have to give it to Mando. So right now, that's 1 and 1 for Mando and 1 for Tony Stark. So, because I'm running out of time right now, I'm going to give you guys part 1 right now. So right now, I have weapons for Iron Man, and I have intelligence for Mandalorian. So right now, it's tied 1-1. The next part 2, I will talk about the combat aspect of their abilities and the determination to get the mission or the job done. And if it comes to a tie, I'm going to give it to you guys, the viewers, subscribers, a chance to pick who you think, based on your own knowledge of the characters and opinions that I've said to you guys, who wins the battle. So right there, Iron Man versus Mandalorian. Mandalorian 1, Iron Man 2. Stay tuned for part 2.
No one ever sees me.